Hello everyone, how have you all been? So today we're back again with another tech capsule. Hope everyone is doing great. Now let's jump right into our first news without wasting any further time. All right, starting with Atlassian. Now this might not sound like the flashiest announcement, but if you've ever managed a Jira or Confluence instance, you'll understand why it actually is a really big deal. Now, Atlassian has launched a brand new unified roles or unified notes hub, bringing your product updates from across its platform into one searchable location. So instead of checking separate pages for Jira, Confluence, JSM, Bitbucket, and other products, admins and users can now see updates in a single place without rollout information and filters. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a notes release. It's just a release notes, or it's a really small update. But honestly, it's much more than that. Now think about how frequently Atlassian updates its products. Sometimes there are new AI features, or some security improvements, or some UI redesigns, some workflow changes, or some sort of automation updates. Now, many organizations don't even realize a feature has rolled out until someone accidentally discovers it, and that creates a lot of confusion. And admins don't know what's changed, developers don't know whether a feature is available yet or not, and teams waste their a lot of time searching whether a feature is available and searching through the documentations. Now, this new release notes hub solves that by becoming a single source of truth. But here's what I think is even more interesting. Now, this shows how enterprise software is evolving. Software isn't shipped once a year anymore. It's updated almost every week. That means that our documentation becomes just as important as the software itself. Because if users don't know a feature exists, the feature might as well not exist, right? I also think this ties into Atlassian's broader AI strategy. As Jira, Rovo, Bitbucket, and Confluence become more deeply connected, organizations need better visibility into what's changing and updating in these applications. Otherwise, AI features appear overnight, and teams don't know how to take advantage of them. So, although this announcement seems small, it's actually improving one of the biggest problems in modern software, that is, keeping users informed. Now, sometimes the biggest productivity improvements don't come from flashy brand new AI features. They can also come from making existing features easier to discover and navigate. All right, now let's move to one of today's biggest AI stories. That is our second update. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, the US government restricted access to Anthropic's most powerful AI model, that was Mythos 5, because of concerns that it could be misused for advanced cybersecurity and other sensitive applications. Now, that decision surprised a lot of people, including myself. It showed that governments are no longer treating frontier AI models like ordinary software anymore. They are beginning to treat them almost like strategic technologies. Now, according to Reuters, the US government has partially reversed that decision. So, Anthropic has been allowed to release Mythos 5 to more than 100 trusted US organizations, including major Fortune 500 companies and critical infrastructure partners. Now, access remains restricted for organizations outside this approved group. I think this is a fascinating shift because for years, software followed a really simple model. You build it, you launch it, and anyone can download it. But this frontier AI cannot work like that anymore. So instead, companies may release AI in layers, like one version for researchers, another for enterprises, one for government, and perhaps a more version for the general public to use. Now, we're already seeing that happen with Anthropic. What's even more interesting is why this is happening. Now, this isn't because Mythos writes better emails. It's because the model is reportedly strong enough in cybersecurity reasoning that governments believe unrestricted access could create national security risks. That's a completely different conversation from where AI was just 2 years ago. Back then, we debated whether AI could replace search engines. And today, we're debating who should be allowed to use the most capable AI models. Now, I honestly think this marks the beginning of a new era, an era where AI isn't just a consumer product. It's slowly and strongly becoming a strategic infrastructure. What do you think? Should the most powerful AI model be available to everyone or only to trusted organizations? Let me know in the comments below. Now, for today's final story, which is about Apple. Now, Apple is reportedly asking the US government for permission to buy memory chips from Chinese chip maker Changxin Memory Technologies, also known as CXMT. Now, here's why this is controversial. Because CXMT has been placed on a Pentagon blacklist over alleged links to the Chinese military. Normally, working with companies on these restricted lists becomes extremely difficult because of US export controls and national security rules. So, why would Apple even want to do this? The answer is surprisingly simple. It's the cost. Now, the AI boom has driven memory chip prices sharply higher. It has raised their prices to a sky high level. Everything from AI servers to smartphones now competes for advanced memory. Apple has reportedly been looking for ways to reduce those costs, especially after increasing prices on products like iPads and MacBooks. Now, this story highlights something we don't talk about enough. That is, AI isn't just changing software, it's also changing the global supply chains. Uh, to explain it further, let's say 5 years ago, Apple mainly worried about things like manufacturing, their shipping, and product schedules. But today, it also has to think about AI-driven shortages, geopolitical restrictions, their export controls, national security policy. Now, that's an incredibly difficult balancing act. On one side, Apple wants affordable components, and on the other side, government wants tighter control over advanced technology. And I think we're going to see more stories like this as AI becomes more important and technology companies won't just compete on innovation anymore. They'll also compete on who can secure the hardware that is needed to run that technology. Now, in many ways, semiconductors have become the oil of the AI economy. Everyone needs them, and everyone is fighting over the access of that oil. All right. And I feel like, according to me, the AI race isn't just about building better models anymore. It's about securing the chips that make those models possible. And we can definitely see that from all the previous news that we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks, that the chip market has seen a really boost to their production and to the money that they're getting. Now, today's stories actually remind us that the AI revolution isn't happening in isolation anymore. It's reshaping the whole enterprise software. It's influencing government policies and it's changing the global semiconductor market for good reasons. Now, the next decade of technology won't just be defined by smarter AI models. It will be defined by the ecosystems, the regulations, and infrastructure built around them. And honestly, I think we're only seeing the beginning of that whole era unfolding in front of us. Now, that's it for today's video. If you liked our content, please consider liking the video and sharing it with someone who you think might also like our content. If you're new to our channel, please consider subscribing and hit that bell icon because we'll keep on bringing such regular videos on a vast variety of topics. That's it for today's video. We'll see you in the next one. Till then, thank you and bye bye.